That is true. Anybody who would listen to this podcast is like a schizo movie person who
Well, anyone that's listening to this podcast is fucking not a real person.
who, if they were,
It's
if,
true. I cannot
if they
imagine
if-
someone who has gone through
It's
this.
not real. Suboptimal.
it's suboptimal.
And that's our song. Thank you, Steven.
Okay.
What did we watch, guys?
The
We watched
Terrifier. Oh, which
Terrorizers.
sorry, Terrifier. That's pretty
We
funny.
watched
Terrorizers.
凶处记好.
Dude, the I don't know if you noticed. Here's a little fact.
Got that, Brody?
Here's a
How do you
little
say?
here's a little fact for the audience here. I know they love facts, and we did our research. Okay,
I love facts.
We did our research.
We did our research on Letterboxd. This movie is called Terrorizers. However, when I went to torrent the movie, it says The Terrorizers, and also it says that on Amazon after my torrent failed to download
Torrent, is that a streaming service?
as a streaming service. Yeah,
Okay.
and I
Must cost a lot if it has this one.
And on Amazon, it also says The Terrorizers.
No, I think it's pronounced Tencent, Brody.
But
I have also. I can corroborate the this disjunction here.
yeah, Terrorizers versus The Terrorizers. Seems like everybody wants to say it's The Terrorizers.
We know there's no word for the in Chinese.
There's the in Mandarin.
I feel like I can't really even get into this movie until I know what the title is. You know.
Yes.
I
Exactly.
mean, how much can you really talk to someone you don't know their name?
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, judge a book
it's
by its
all,
cover.
It's all
and just-
identity. It's
All right,
yeah.
I think the Terrorizers is the more down to earth, and Terrorizers is the little more
But
lofty.
okay, maybe it's something
think
that
it's a
we're not
setup.
getting. Maybe it's
I
not.
think it's intentional.
Maybe it's not supposed to be like a noun or whatever. But terrorizers, maybe that's supposed to be. It's not the terrorizers, but it's terrorizers. You know what
That's
I
what
mean?
I'm saying. It's lofty. Like you mean, like the things in our life that terrorize us.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
Like
what-
antagonists.
Now,
almost.
okay, so let's. Who are the Terrorizers? Answer.
Or
Listen.
what is the terrorizer?
Listen.
Well, it's Terrorizers.
We watched Terrorizers,
Yeah.
1986. Edward Yang, depicting a story of a coincidental interactions between three groups of people in Taipei: a young woman and the tough petty criminal gang of the native Taiwanese she hangs out with, a mainlander doctor and his novelist wife, and a young photographer who observes the life of the city unfolding around him.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I'm
Great.
so happy I interrupted Brody. for that.
Great.
No,
Greatly
that's
put.
good. No, I think
Sorry,
that's
go
totally
ahead.
fine. Yeah. I mean, initial vibe check on how I felt. All day today, I've been having like pretty bad like anxiety. Now this don't DSM-5 me right now. I'm fine. Okay. Let's just be like that some days. And so when I booted this one up, it was not cozy. I was having a cozy first little bit, but then it got not cozy. When shit started hitting the fan, when everybody's shit got fucked, and then at the end, everybody's shit got fucked. This was sad, and it made me think maybe I should kill myself too, right? Not in a real way, but in a way that's like after you watch a sad movie kind of way. You know what I mean?
I don't think the movie would suggest it.
No, I mean, I wasn't getting.
I don't think it's evil.
I don't think it's
this-
evil. I don't think it's
I don't-
evil. It's
yeah,
not
I
an
don't
evil,
really-
not an evil movie.
I don't really think this was a depressing movie. I mean, it was about unhappy people, but I don't know, the spin on it. I felt like there was some hopeful spin, especially via the photographer character. He had this sort of youthful hope in him, especially with his dreams about fucking making it big time, dodging the
He's so
draft.
funny.
He had good energy. The moment I first saw him, I was feeling cozy. The beginning, like this, just like even like the first few shots, I was like, oh, maybe China's cool.
Dude, I was thinking
Dude,
China
China
was
is
cool,
cool.
this whole time.
I need
was
to look like these characters. I want to be dressed like
I was like, maybe I should move to China.
these people. So many good outfits. I unironically felt multiple times throughout saying, I need to like screenshot this and give it to Brody like you do to your hair cutter and say,
Yeah.
I want to look like this.
Yeah,
The
I was
landlord
noticing,
shoes.
I was noticing some good fits, especially the photographer.
I didn't notice that.
Photographer had some great fits. You know who didn't have great fits? The guy who didn't get promoted to chief, whatever his name is.
Yeah, he is the ugliness
He
for sure.
he had some.
Oh
he was
my
looking
God.
whack, bro.
You guys
all
are
often.
literally living in Oppositeville.
No, dude.
What? About how cool he looked or his ugliness?
Yeah,
Which part?
about how cool he looked.
Oh, okay.
Dude, he did not look cool,
Dude,
dude.
this was middle-aged man core Kino.
It was.
He looks cool.
I did like a number.
Oh,
of
but
their
I'll tell you what,
outfits.
the other guy.
Big
looked
fan
way
of the police
cooler.
guy.
The
Police guy,
looked
cool
With the
cop
silk
guy,
shirts.
cool
sick.
cop guy looked cool, and also
yeah.
the guy who started his own business that ended up.
Yeah, he was
He,
super fly.
he looked cool, right? He has some
The guy that
maybe he has
started
some
his own
hairline
business.
problems, but
The guy that
Those,
doctor's ex-wife cheats
Yeah,
on him
oh.
with.
right. He looked, right. He looked like a different type of Asian person. You know what I mean?
it was
I was a little worried at the beginning because there were a lot of characters being introduced, and I was afraid that I was mixing people up because I couldn't tell them apart. And I'm just saying that earnestly.
uh-huh.
Okay, I was afraid
man.
that was happening, but then I realized that wasn't happening.
A lot of white shirts as well. Not to keep talking about the outfits, but I just kept noticing so many white
Yeah.
shirts. And I'll tell you what, all the girls' outfits, I loved them all. They all looked. The girls all
The
looked
ladies
so
always
cute.
look nice.
All the
Mhm.
ladies all looked very, very nice.
The younger girl character
White chick.
was like, yeah, she was attractive, but in like she was unconventionally attractive.
Oh, yeah.
We'll just put it at that.
Yeah, she was fire. I would, if I was the photographer character, definitely take many photos of her and put her up on my wall. I would do
Obsess
that.
over her.
So
And
true.
obsess. And
I
then
wonder
be
if I was
like,
missing.
I love you.
Oh, sorry. I wonder if I was missing either cultural context or like just whatever. But I was surprised that she was being understood to be a prostitute by so many men.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's probably
yeah.
just
Like
just
she
a
just stood
Taipei
there and
thing.
would be approached. That was
Yeah.
something that surprised me.
Well, I don't know what the subtext is. If there was like cultural context for, something that she was doing or wearing, where they would give her a cigarette. It seems like handing her the cigarette was like a cue for like, yes, you are a prostitute.
That's how they're finding out.
Let's
And
get this
ma-
going.
And maybe you also just like in China, you can't just hang around on a corner, like period. In the States, we love standing in corners and in public places, just hanging out, looking around, right? You probably got someone you're waiting
No.
on somebody.
No.
I think
Dude.
in China you got to be on the move at all times.
No, loitering is so frowned upon in America. It's what the system fears the most.
The
you
system
don't-
is really fear of
Don't
loitering.
believe me. Just go stand by a bus stop. See how many
How many people try and
Especially
pick
if
you
you-
up? How many
if you
buses
try
come
this-
along and try and tell you get in?
If you try this in Northern California, oh my God, you won't believe the stares you'll get for just standing in public. People look at you like you're freaking Charles Manson or something.
Well,
I have a hard
They
time
do not
believing
vibe
this.
with it.
I've been in many public areas sitting.
Yeah, but it's the area of the world that we're in is a little bit more chill.
All I
Okay.
do is hang out in public areas.
Yeah, the area of the world that you're in is more chill. But
I'm in a public area right now.
you go, yeah, I'm sitting in a public park in San Francisco, and people are staring at me like I'm some fucking crazed lunatic.
You in the bathroom? That's what it sounds more like.
Well, that's a public area in San Francisco. The whole city's a bathroom.
Yeah. So did you guys like it?
I liked it.
I'm thrilled, actually, about this movie. I'm
Thrilled.
so excited
what made
about
you so
it.
thrilled?
I felt it to be so sharp. It felt so good to watch. I don't know. There's so many fun ideas, so many funny moves. Like 6 different things I noted, or not 6, but noted some things that are just like different moves almost. Like, oh, I've never seen that done before. For example, there's like a bunch. They're almost like jokes, but not really. But like when the young photographer is fighting with that girl and she's like screaming at him or something. I don't really know what's going on, but she's like, that's most of the movie is, wow, this is really interesting. I don't really know what's going on, but no, I actually know. I have a decent idea. The beginning I had a very hard time, and then I kind of got into the groove of what was going on, but you know what I'm talking about? She's yelling and screaming
she's
at
like
him and
ripping
his
stuff down.
photos down, all this stuff.
Yeah.
And then he's like clearly distraught about it. She's fighting, turns to look at him, and he's disappeared. And for me, I thought, that he must be the boy that we saw lying in the street at the start, because I don't really know what's going on, right? Like, is this going to be that suicide? Did we think he had committed suicide? No. I did. So I thought, but that was, whatever. So she goes to the thing, but it turns out he's just walking away, and there's been this kind of sneaky step forward in time that you didn't expect, but it's not like, whoa, it's just a nice little move.
Yeah, like when the main guy, he leaves the office of his boss, but it's not clear whether or not he's there or not, or like even immediately after, when the photographer's girlfriend tries to commit suicide by overdosing on sleeping pills, and then the white girl is like narrating it, but she's really just pranking someone on the phone.
Yeah,
but she's narrating what the photographer's girlfriend just did.
I thought that I was having audio issues or something. Like, I didn't know what was going on.
There were a couple times, and I enjoyed this, where there was like POV camera work. I think there was a scene with a photographer where this happened, but there was also, most significantly, the sort of divorce scene where your point of view is middle-aged doctor guy, and the wife, writer girl, is like giving her reasons why, or like they're having their little divorce conversation, and it just felt like I just felt very pierced by like this sort of point of this POV arrangement.
Yeah,
I agree.
And I also,
and by her words.
Yeah, her words fucked me up too when she was talking to me, right? Like the like idea of always wanting these new beginnings, and she's like, and I
so true.
And then so
shut
like,
up, you stupid bitch.
Yeah, but I just love like saying how I thought this would be a new beginning. I thought this would be a beginning, but then it never was. And then saying, and then now this, I think it will be, right? Which is like so doomer, kind of
big time.
It probably won't. Which is why I was saying,
with that attitude, maybe.
This is why I was saying that this gave me this movie was making me anxious, making me sad, right?
Yeah, but maybe good sad.
I just thought it was like cozy enough to where that outweighed any of the sadness, and like I just really enjoyed getting a glimpse into what 80s China would be like in terms of just how cities arranged, how people are dressing.
It was crazy,
I do sort of wish there were some more happy characters. It makes me tremendously happy to watch. And
You're the happy character.
Only further reaffirms my love of life. But it is a lot of sadness, a lot of people's lives getting terrorized.
Yeah. I mean, like if, because I can very well imagine myself being like getting left, wife leave me, Because, well, at least I'll probably become the chief, right? At least I might have this going for me, you know? And then he gets totally fucking smoked. Dude, I would just start killing too. What the hell? Like, dude, shit's over. It is over. You know?
No, I felt like it's a huge overreaction.
So
Yeah,
well,
just start
this
killing.
actually, I had I was thinking about this actually, and like obviously, you'd think that like in real life, you've met tons of people. Basically, every grown man that's like over 40 or 50 that you have met in your life has been divorced, has like lost a big job, been fucked over in some major way, right? But then you talk to them and they're just working some other job, they're banging some other fucking woman, they're married some other.
Yeah.
Okay, edit the bleep the part that I just said. I was just that wasn't proper. They're married to some other woman, and so I think that in film though, like, because you're thinking right now, like, if this happened to me, I would go on a rampage, right? But it's like, no, in real life, that's not how it works. You just move on to the next thing. You find
But
another
you
person,
see,
etc.
now
But
you're...
in film, this is the time where we're gonna indulge those sort of romantic fantasies of like, woe is me, and like these, it's completely romantic.
I think that exact idea is the idea of the ending, or something approximating it. Like, not that that's how life goes, something like that, right? Like, he has this big narrative, and for the first time in the film, like, everything is becoming coherent and like clear line of thinking, right? Of like, we're following this guy and he does these things, and
Yeah.
and then it was all a dream, I think, is like a sort of,
Well, I think that was more to do with there's sort of a line where he confronts his wife, his ex-wife earlier about how, the what she was sort of led to believe that inspired her to finish her story was based on a falsehood, and then she kind of says, well, it doesn't matter anyway because, I was still unhappy, and like novels are not reality, right? And
Yeah.
so his ending, where he kind of half reenacts her story of killing and bringing justice or whatever. It's like it's teasing this idea that like, actually, no, bitch, like novels are reality. Like, my life's a movie. You know what I mean?
But they're not.
But then it record scratch freeze frames and then turns back and it's like, well, actually, no, novels are not a reality, and you're watching a movie brought to you by. I was just
It's tough.
So
Dude, delete this whole pod.
just bleep when I'm being.
so Troy, as a resident, movies are true, movies are real life.
Yes. Go on.
This that's like an interview. I'm like, it's like a gotcha moment. I'm come up to you on the street. You're trying to go
stacking
to
the papers.
you're trying to go to the grocery store. I come up to you with a mic in your face, right?
Yes.
I say,
Oh,
Troy,
can I help you?
Yeah. I say, so you've been on the record saying that movies are in fact real life and true.
Mm-hmm.
However, you just watched Terrorizer. You gave it 4 stars on your Letterboxd, and that movie says that movies are in fact not real. What do you have to say about this?
I think it's a good point. Hold on, can we step aside? Yeah. So I think you got a good point, but you've seen the film yourself. Do you not think what you're seeing was real before? What was unreal was the quote, the film-like nature of his fantasies.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I feel. This was the fantasy. The fantasy is that life is, a clear-cut narrative that you can follow and understand, etc. But really, it's all just a bunch of stuff. But it's still real. It's still a movie.
Real life
Right.
is.
If anything, yeah, the whole movie is real life, and then he interjects some not real life, and you're watching, you're thinking, whoa, this is really getting crazy. Oh, it felt weird because it wasn't real life.
Right.
Yeah. Well, that's something that, and I feel like I started to really understand what you mean, Troy.
Real life is the beautiful film we watched along the way.
Specifically, the part where he's the main guy is driving in his car.
Who's the main guy?
The main guy is the main guy. The guy who commits suicide.
Oh, the doctor.
He's all of us. I was going to say the part where he's like trailing them in his car, and you kind of get the sense of like, oh, is he about to do something? Right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're totally thinking he's going to run him over.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm hashtag team main guy, and I'm like, dude, he's going to fucking run them over. But I just got to thinking of like, especially just how it would be depicted. Like you think of like running someone over, and what that looks like, right? Like, you watch a live leak video or something, and it's just this kind of just banal, like two Newtonian objects, coming together.
Yeah, ragdoll.
But in a movie, it's like cut to someone's face, like like you know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's this totally artificial thing, and it just got me really felt like I was having kind of a third person view of the whole thing of like just how curated everything is when you watch something like that. I don't know.
No, I think that's
so
real.
true.
I think that's real.
So real. Oh, you're saying this is like the Hanukkah, or you're saying you're coming around to the manipulation take.
I'm coming around to the manipulation take.
This was definitely very.
But
Hanukkah.
I was already there. It's more like a circle. You know what I mean?
Has Hanukkah? Horseshoe. This definitely had to have very Hanukkah vibes.
Horseshoe.
References Bergman with
yes.
Her book is called Notes from a Marriage.
That's right. I did catch that one.
Yang is in a Bergman movie called, or not a movie by Bergman, but in a documentary about Bergman called like Bergman's Island or something like this. And he goes to Bergman's house and cries.
Awesome.
Do that, Rob.
This movie. Do we not agree about the way it felt watching this movie? Both. It felt so tangible, down to earth, yet so lofty, and I felt like I was in some world of cogs and machinery.
Yeah, well, and,
cleverly constructed for small laughs behind the screen,
and something
by a guy who also worked as a software developer or some type of coder person.
Really
interesting.
Yeah, he worked. I'll look it up while you talk.
There's a lot of moments that did feel like, I don't know, like I was being taken out of the world. Like things felt like little not right, things were under the surface, right? And like that was like time skip things plus like whenever they would look at the camera, like I felt like there was a lot of like looking at the camera and a lot of like almost looking at the camera as well. Right, where this would make you feel like, oh yeah, this a movie, right? You're not supposed to do that. You can't do that.
True, but I think it did so not in like the really distance developing way, but more like he's just talking kind of straight to you, like a F for fake type thing. Like F for fake, I feel so captured by the film, even though the whole the thing's artificiality is always number one focus.
Yes. I agree.
I wanted to talk.
He worked on defense software.
Whoa.
Microcomputers and defense software in Seattle.
It's like The Departed. He's on the other side. He's the guys in the warehouse.
Yeah.
And he's like, give me the microchips. He's that guy.
Wow. I was gonna talk about the white bitch. And her
white chick.
And the white chick. White Chicks. 2000 whatever.
Name those two actors.
I can't. I couldn't. Couldn't if you had a fucking Chinese gun in my head.
What are...
Brody cut that? Brody bleep that?
What are those guys' names? Remember one of them made that movie where he's like a grown man pretending to be a baby? Little Man, I think it's called.
No.
I don't know that.
I don't know.
Oh my gosh, that movie's crazy.
But about this white woman's antics,
Yeah.
okay? I feel like I have this conspiracy theory going in my head, and I didn't do any research into the movie after the fact. So you're getting just the straight, hot,
Riz.
pig, sludge, slag, pig iron out of my brain here.
I like that.
So we all agree. First off, first point of contention, we all agree that the white chick's mom is awesome, right?
Was it the mom that the house she goes to and she fixes her leg?
She's like, why don't you leave just like your dad did? And she's like hitting her with a magazine.
Yeah.
And she's like walking
She comes
on high
home with a
heels.
broken leg.
Yeah. Smoke cigarettes.
Yeah. Anyway, so I'm like something about this white chick, which at the time I didn't know was a white chick, doesn't look quite right. So I'm like, there's something going on here. And then the white woman's mom, she's smoking, she puts down her cigarettes and her lighter, and what do you know? There's some sort of it looks like infantry or cavalry type badge, or you do know what I'm
Yeah.
you know what
I
I'm
did
saying?
recognize this.
I was like, this looks like she got that lighter from her husband who left her, and it looks like to be some sort of military symbol. You know what I mean? So I'm like, I bet this woman, she was married to a foreign white dude who was military, and that's why her daughter also looks a little off.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't look necessarily full Chinese. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then later on, and then that was literally the case where they're talking, oh, this is some Eurasian.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So I'm like, okay, conspiracy brain has been proven correct.
Right.
The lore thickens.
So I started going 2 layers deeper, okay? And there's this book that's on the shelf in multiple scenes where you can't quite make out the name of the book, but it seems to be a book about World War II. So
Yeah, okay.
Here we go.
so anyway, we did some research.
Is that it?
We looked at,
Is that where you're ending the story?
No. I said,
Okay.
Listen.
Okay, sorry.
What I'm trying to explain is the whole time I was building a conspiracy theory in my head, I didn't do any research into this movie beforehand, so
Yeah.
I thought maybe this is Hong Kong, all right? And if you remember, back when we watched Angels, or whatever it's called,
Yeah.
Breath of the Angels, or
Fallen Angels.
Fallen Angels, that was about Hong Kong, and there was some undertones talking about the geopolitics. So that was kind of where my mind was at for some of this. It was like, are there any hidden implications here? Are they trying to talk about some political thing? Because, one of the characters, she's like part white, and there's like this book that's in some of these scenes, and like,
Oh my gosh.
but I didn't, this is just, that's what I'm telling you. I'm giving you just the raw info.
I see. I know where I'm picking up.
Yeah, they're in Taiwan. But I do like the idea of tracing the political energy and symbology provided to like predicting what country it is.
Yeah. Well,
That's all I do when I watch a movie.
I do kind of like, because a lot of times, so when I'm watching, this is actually a debuff to foreign films, right? Because when I'm watching American movies and then I see what year it came out, I'm immediately picking up on like the vibe of like what America was like, because I sort of implicitly know like what culturally we were in at a time, right? For like things happening, and I've seen so many like American movies, right? But I think this might be the first Chinese movie I've ever seen. I have not seen Fallen Angels. I have not seen Chungking Express. I have not seen Yi Yi. Right?
Oh, Yi is so good.
So like, and I remember thinking like, dude, like I didn't know, like Chinese cinema was something like could look like this or be like this, right? And I thought to myself, like, is it all like it feels to me Western, right?
Very,
And then I was like,
very.
well, is this just like something that's different and out of the box and basically just westernized cinema happening in China right now, right? And or is this something like this, or is this like a proper movement that maybe has been brought in or originally influenced from Western cinema, but has effectively like this is what China's like, or is this like ground or Chinese cinema is like, or is this groundbreaking stuff here, right?
Yeah,
I'm
I
100%.
think it's very Western. I think all this stuff is. I think it's why it's the same story with Wong Kar-wai, like with Chungking and Fallen Angels. I think all of these are set in Taiwan, which westernized. I think. I mean, it's not like Western, but you know what I mean. It westernized significantly more and faster than like mainland China.
Yeah. Okay. That would make
Because I
sense.
agree. Because yeah, I remember thinking that with Wong Kar-wai and with Yi Yi and all this Edward Yang stuff. Thinking, dude, especially yeah, this one a ton and Yi Yi a ton. It feels so Western. It feels extremely relatable, and like I consciously am surprised by at least how well I think I understand. Like I don't know, like it just shows you a square or it shows you some people hanging out, and you actually feel like you have a good grip on how they must look.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yeah.
like are these bums or are these things? Is this a middle class neighborhood or not? Is this stuff like that? But I think it's because yeah, they're all not in mainland.
I see.
They're all
I mean,
they're
because that would make sense because like my entire conception of what China is like is like basically just like live leak videos and stuff like that, right?
Mhm.
So I've never actually seen like because I don't actually like I get to go on YouTube. I get to watch Day in the Life of Japan, right? I get Day in the Life of Korea, right?
Yeah.
Dude, Day in the Life of China is not something that comes up. The only time I
Dude, this
see anything, any Chinese media, it's like through like statistics that like I get from like politicians, right? And like
this was exactly what I was talking about in the other day in our secret chat room that the viewers don't know about, where
IRC.
there was discourse surrounding these sort of 4K walk through city in China videos where you really feel like, much like this movie, you're kind of getting a look behind the curtain into what these sorts of societies, what their vibe is. And I actually found, watching these 4K walkthrough city videos, that they're kind of it's kind of similar to America. I mean, everyone's a little portly. They're wearing t-shirts and just drinking on the iced whatever drinks. You know what I mean? It's like it's pretty similar.
yeah.
Also, new information. I tracked down the book that's in the background of these scenes. Unfortunately, it's a English to French dictionary.
That's good. I still like your theory because I agree. Right, she's Eurasian, and the military symbol on the lighter did stand out to me big time at the time.
There's something going on there.
I think if you read about the movie, you're going to see a bunch of stuff about the politics at this time.
I'm just going to quickly look at
Taiwan.
the history of Taiwan.
And
Yeah.
that Edward is engaging with this political history in some sense.
Yeah, and then so do you know the political history? Like
No,
Well,
but I'm
basically,
kind of uninterested in it.
Taiwan left separated from China in the mid 20th century.
wait, so I still haven't seen a Chinese movie.
After I think World War
Huh?
II.
I still haven't
What?
seen a Chinese movie then.
Oh yeah, that's one of my points. Is
Yeah.
I think these movies feel more like movies in Chinese than
Than Chinese movies.
Chinese movies.
This is
I mean,
not
they're definitely
Chinese.
Chinese movies, but
Well, like it's different. You know,
it's just different from mainland.
they're not in mainland China. But I don't know what this movie would be trying to say about that per se, right? Because it's not highlighted. You know, it is, I guess, a fact that the main character is a mainlander. I don't know if that has any bearing on anything in the plot.
Mm-hmm.
It definitely has. I know that if you read about it, it'll talk about how he's talking about all blah 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 blah. But that stuff is so boring.
I think the most.
So it looks like. Sorry.
I think the most interesting thing really is just about the whole narrative and the conceptualiz and the idea of like, oh, you actually think this shit is real? It's just a book, right? Like, that's like to me the most like the thing that I take away from this movie the most, right? Out of anything else is that this is just a book, you know?
No, it's not just a book.
Well, of course, right. It's not just a book, but like that line, that idea, right? And then of course it not being just a book ultimately, but just that
Or
recurring
the
line, right, is just a book, right?
yes.
And then when she said, she's like, it's just a book. I was like, oh, she really thinks that. Oh, it's just fiction, reality, totally different things. No wonder why this bitch like can't write. She'll never be a good writer like this. And
Wins, mogs you.
And then she was like, I'm not cut out for this. I'm not writing anymore. And I was like, I win. And then she actually mocked me at the end of it, right? But it
Yeah, I
was,
want to read her book.
haven't you seen the movie? Things from a Marriage?
Oh no. Well, yeah, I think just the name. Have you not seen? Oh, you haven't seen Scenes from Marriage?
No, I've seen A Marriage Story.
Taiwan has formalized relations with Eswatini. How does this factor into things?
I'm having a hard time coming up with fleshed out things to say. It's all a bit fresh, but I'm just really thrilled about the structure of the whole thing and how exciting it was.
Dude, I was praying that Eurasian bitch and photographer would fuck, and then they did, and I was like, thank God.
I liked her character because it felt like an authentic criminal woman. In that, at least, like everything made sense, and like I think you begin projecting this like really cool girl inner life, like this whole character and the whole aesthetic, and honestly, the type of thing that you would see unironically in like Fallen Angels or Chungking Express. I mean, it literally is that character. I feel like the girl is it the girl in? Because I'm cool, Fallen Angels guy. Anyway, like this very cool Hong Kong 80s criminal. Kind of like with the cop too at the start.
The cop,
like when you start the movie and the cop figures in immediately, you were like, "Whoa, am I watching like a Hollywood 80s action?"
Yes,
like,
yes.
This feels like a Jackie Chan movie.
Yes, it was being so over the top, like cool guy.
Awesome.
And I was like, "What the fuck is going on?" Like I didn't know. And this is another thing. I was like, "Am I like is there some sort of like cultural barrier here? Like or is this like an awareness of like what they're doing?" Like I said, I don't know what the fuck is going on.
Oh.
You know?
Just believe in him. It was meant just for you.
But
yeah, for sure. I mean, it's all. I think he definitely knows what he's doing. I mean, he spent ton of time in the U.S. He went to film school at USC. I think he dropped out because he said it was whack. But at that time, you're still in that mode, and you encounter this girl, and she's got this cool look, and blah blah blah. You build up this whole image of the like, what is it? Whatever. But turns out she's just like basically hollow. She's like this hollow automata traumatized girl in my mind. Isn't she? Oh no, I got just too gripped. I forgot about the whole her killing that guy in the hotel room.
Yeah, she's
because when he was going to beat her up, I was like, that's what I thought. The powerful thing I felt when he was going to bring the pain was, oh, this girl, she's just a nothing. But she still strikes me as just like kind of robotically not good.
Yeah, because when I thought
her pimp
when the photographer let her in, right, like that, and then they kissed and stuff. I was like, oh, is this like is this gonna be like a love arc? Like, are they gonna find something like they're gonna have like kind of a Bonnie and Clyde kind of cool thing going, and then dude bounced with another dude instantly, so fast, right? It was over.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's fair to think of her as fairly, maybe not hollow, but just kind of like just a machinery,
Yeah,
just some force that
Yeah.
moves in the world and just is that.
Well, she
a
was
terrorizer perhaps.
A
she's
terrorizer. I mean,
pure
to many people.
Yeah,
pure being. She is the terrorizer in the movie. If you want to add the, okay, she is the terror. Yeah, she's just basically pure evil. Now that I think about it, because even when she gets all her cast
mm-hmm.
and she's stuck in the home, she just starts running up the prank calls immediately.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? She's like, gotta ruin lives somehow.
yeah, yeah, and but it's also like she's like clearly like afraid of her mother in some way. Like the moment she walks in, she's got to like hang up the phone. It's very like it has very like little girl energy whenever that happens.
Yeah,
And where
yeah,
she really is just like a slime nothing person with like not even a true backbone to her. You know, just truly nothing.
yeah. Just a bottom feeder.
Yeah. And I love her. I love you.
Well, we never really get to see the resolution of her story, or the photographer's story for that instant.
No, I think the photographer's story is implied. I think it's implied that he successfully dodges the draft. He is madly in love with that first girl, who is, by the way, also super
Wait,
sick.
how does he dodge the draft?
She's super cute.
He's gonna.
He moves back in with his girlfriend, so they don't know where to find him.
You think that's what that is?
I don't
Yeah.
know. I just
In the end, when they're in the police station, in the fake fantasy where the doctors kill a bunch of people, when the police guy gets back to the police station to like gather the troops,
Mm-hmm.
in my subtitles it overhears someone saying like, "Where have you been hiding?" Da da da.
Oh.
No, the where have you been hiding was when the main character guy showed up to the police station to sequester the cool guy cop to help him find his wife.
I don't think so. Sorry, go on.
Well, either way, that was in the fantasy
That-
section anyway, right? I was just saying because we're just saying how there isn't really a very good conclusion to some of these arcs, But I was saying that the photographer, right? He's back with his girl, like that's gonna be a thing. Which, by the way, she's literally perfect. She reads all
Through
day.
those glasses.
The
oh
read all
my
night girl?
god.
Yeah, read all night girl.
She
She's
does
so
seem very
cute.
sweet.
And yeah, and he's gonna make it big. He's the one. He made this movie.
I think he has talent.
This is self insert from Edward Yang,
Old Ed Yang.
right?
Probably. I do like, normally, or it's not that uncommon for some type of specific object or symbol to become the face of a movie, and you don't really know what it is when you see it the first time, but then you watch the movie, and then you see it in the movie, and you're like, oh, this is the symbol around which people, see the movie as being assembled around and stuff like this.
Mhm.
And in this case, the photo of the woman on the wall with all the little photos,
Yeah,
right? Like that's like all the marketing. It's the cover of the Blu-ray package. It's the whatever,
yeah.
I don't know. Did you guys have that experience of when you actually saw it? You were like, "Oh, this is what it is,"
Right, yeah. I mean, I guess so.
and you get
I don't know that I think in those terms, but I definitely was like, whoa, big picture.
well, I saw it and I was like,
Well, I mean,
oh,
did
this
you
part from the
recognize that
poster.
it was the face of the marketing material?
Yes, I recognized that immediately. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't feel let down by it.
Okay. Yeah.
It felt the right level of this really does encapsulate a good deal about the structure of this movie, and also sufficiently enigmatic to be like, oh, it's about everything.
Right.
So it wasn't just like some trivial representation.
Yeah. Yeah. It's,
I like that.
it
I don't know
wasn't-
what y'all are talking about.
I'm so thrilled about this movie, guys. We should have done this pod tomorrow, where I could have had some time to.
Oh, we should not have done
Think.
this pod tomorrow. I would have
It would have been amazing.
been in hell.
Yeah, it would have been.
I
It
could-
would have been good.
No, it would have been terrible.
I am going to rewatch this movie basically as soon as possible.
Oh, that's awesome.
I am so thrilled about it. But
That's
I'm not.
crazy.
It's too late. I'm not able to bring to bear my normal levels of enthusiasm.
Yeah, this is weird. I don't know. I didn't feel like Omega thrilled, to be honest with you.
Yeah, well, can you expand on how
This
you
is-
feel, quote unquote, thrilled?
This is going into like my top 20 probably already.
That is
Okay.
crazy. I
This
know you're
movie-
a Yee Yee.
Oh my
stan.
gosh, Yee Yee is
Yee
so
Yee.
good.
Can you expand on this, please?
No,
Okay.
you guys should. You guys gotta see Yee Yee. We need to be watching Yee Yee. Cole said he was gonna watch
No,
Yee Yee.
I'm
Didn't
not-
watch Yee Yee.
Yeah.
I'm not saying can you expand on Yee. I'm
I
saying
know.
can you
I know.
expand
I'm
on.
just and I said no, and then I started talking about how awesome Yee Yee is. I don't know if I really can. I'm having a hard time. Okay, the structure of the film is so exciting. It's so exciting to watch. I feel like I'm being exposed to, right, like everyone talks about film language, and right, like you can watch all the films of a certain director and really like get into the rhythm of the language they're presenting and the way they're telling their story. And I just felt like this was not just, I don't want to be exaggerating, but like a lot of new words and phrases, a lot of like new language that was like just exciting in the way where you're feeling like, oh my gosh, like this sounds like when boomers talk about the first time they saw whatever, some fairly trivial movie, but it's like, whoa, you can do this like this, like, oh, of course, like that works so well, that's such a good idea. Oh, yeah, that's interesting. Like just like a bunch of new language that like reinvigorated a sense of like back in the days, you find Bergman, you find Haneke, you find Trier, and you watch other movies, and you're so juiced on like the way that they're doing this, and it's so new and interesting and like effective.
Yeah, you're
And-
like I
and
didn't know.
using
You're
tools that
I
you've
didn't know
never
you
been
could-
hit
Yeah,
with.
you're like I didn't know you could make a movie like this, right?
Yeah,
you're like
you can do it like
things-
this.
Things like it's like unlocking like a new realm. It's like you.
And it's so exciting because you thought you kind of get in these lulls of like, well, I've already seen the Bergman, Haneke, Trier, the this, the that, the other stuff, and it's just so exciting. Yeah,
yeah.
I mean, like it's a weird example, and I felt like there was a bunch of moments like this where I'm feeling like, oh, I haven't seen that before, that type of move or whatever. But just the thing with the girl, and you think, for me, that was she jumped, or he jumped, but he's actually just walking, and it's like I got in a way that I don't know if I have before.
Yeah, I feel that.
But there's
way-
more interesting, and it's not very. It's
I mean, but
This all sounds
I-
kinda
I-
surface.
No, but I felt that way when I watched, like, and it's almost hard to pinpoint exactly what it is all the time because I felt that way when I came across like Don DeLillo, right?
mm-hmm.
And I was like, what the fuck? Like, I didn't know that this was possible, being like this, like writing like this. This is like so sick, but the thing is, and here's the reason why I think I wasn't super gassed on it, is I don't know if I've expressed this to you already, but I've expressed this to I don't know at least somebody at some point, which is something that I've been realizing about myself when it comes to interfacing with movies in particular, is I hecking love dialogue,
So true.
right? And then little tiny dialogue moments, things where I feel gassed on dialogue, right? That's what gets me juiced, right? And that's the reason why I realize that I don't really love sci-fi movies that much, right? Is because
Yeah.
sci-fis aren't really dialogue oriented, it's like world building oriented, right? And so in this case there was like it wasn't like dialogue wise, it wasn't like the most like juiced. It was definitely didn't have no juice, right? Like, but that's the reason why like the things that stick in my head are like the scene where they were initially getting divorced, right? I like the scene where
Mm.
they where the photographer and the white woman kissed, you know, like all of these things, like I was feeling real good about, right? Because there was something
Mm.
like I like people talking,
Mm.
and things being said to me. Uh, so yeah, there you go.
So true. I love how quiet the movie is. I kind of like the sense all the dubbing gives. I think there's a scene when they're in the club and the music sounds so muffled,
Mm-hmm.
and I felt like this is not a mistake. And I think it made me think about all the dubbing because the whole right everything in the movies right there's no whatever real life audio,
Mm-hmm.
What do you
and
mean?
like every sound you hear is totally disconnected from what you're looking at. All the all the conversations are dubbed, all the sound effects are dubbed.
I did not
No
pick up on
one is
that.
behind the camera recording audio. Oh,
How,
okay. I
how
felt like the dubbing some movies I think like Tarkovsky's Sacrifice does an intentionally intense dub and it makes it feel like such a quiet world and people's voices are like so over the top clear.
maybe this is something I just do not know about movies at all, but like, am I is basically every movie that I watch dubbed? Like,
No. Most modern movies for a
okay,
long
okay, okay,
time.
okay,
Oh,
okay,
sorry.
okay, 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 okay. Are most movies that we watch for this pod, i.e., the types of movies that we watch for this pod, are most of those
Mhm.
dubbed because it had a very similar audio feel.
I'd say a minority, but the older the movie gets, the more likely it is to be dubbed.
I'm just trying to get to the
But this
bottom
is
of
like
this.
this is 86 where I feel like it's kind of halvesies. Like dubbing is still very popular in this time, but there are also movies that are recording out with the camera. I don't totally know, but I know for
Seems
this
like a
one
lot.
everything
Seems
is
like a lot of
dubbed.
work,
You
dubbing
can hear
everything.
it, I think, for sure. But I was saying I
So
think the
I just,
dubbing go ahead.
I was just, I don't know. I guess I know what you mean, but like, I never connected the dots on that. Like when the audio sounds the way that it sounds, I just imagined that it was because of worse recording techniques, not
Mhm.
because they're literally dubbing over everything.
I think normally well, I don't know. I just feel like it's something you hear. But I think in this movie, I don't think there is a single real sound, quote unquote real, and like anyone is talking, like that audio is being recorded in a sound booth, like way after the fact. And I think it makes the whole anyway. But with that, I think the muffled club music to me at the time felt like some type of reference to the dubbing,
Mm-hmm.
but also how it makes everything feel muffled, like with the dripping water in the alleyway in like the first little section where it just shows the dripping, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you just hear dripping, and you act like you literally hear nothing but dripping and like a soft hum of the city, and then like it cuts, and you keep hearing the dripping, and you see the woman walking. You don't really hear. I don't know, just something about like the sounds are so kind of small and precise and deliberate, and it's all dubbed, and it all just feels very like indoors.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how much I buy this, but I do agree with the vibe.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just feels like a sort of quiet place. I don't know.
Are there any
It feels chambered.
mainland Chinese movies?
There are a lot.
There's actually zero.
Yeah, actually, no.
So sorry, I should have rephrased that. Has anybody seen a mainland Chinese movie?
I actually don't think I have.
Where are they all? China's
I've
like
seen is hold on is Ip Man a mainland Chinese movie?
I highly doubt it.
It seems pretty. That doesn't seem right.
But if it is, I've seen it. Oh, no. Hong Kong.
Shit.
Well, hold on.
Oh?
Hold on. I'm sure I've seen a Chinese movie, but I can't think of what I've seen. No, it's Hong Kong.
Damn.
Yeah, all the things I think of when I think of Chinese movies are actually Hong Kong, Taiwan. Yeah, I don't know.
'Cause I kind of wonder
But-
what that's like. You know,
I also wonder what that's like.
right? Like, cause
I also wonder what that's like.
You guys have to see Yi Yi.
Yee. Okay, I'm afraid to watch Yee
Why?
because
I think listen, I'm anti-spoiler as it gets.
mm-hmm.
I think this movie was ultimately life-affirming, but Yi Yi is more explicitly... If you're saying you're worried about it based on your recently mentioned... what am I
Is it
saying?
more or less life affirming?
Huh?
Is it
Or no,
more-
sorry, are you saying you're worried about Yi Yi because this movie was quite terrorizing?
Terrorizing. Yeah. No, I was worried about watching Yee before because sometimes I like look at a movie like this and I'm like I feel daunted by it. Like this is a real task, you know? And like and then so I have to feel like I got to strap in, I got to be prepared. And if I'm not prepared, then I feel like bad things start to happen. For example, a very small example. Has anybody here seen Vanilla Sky?
No.
No, but I did read your review.
So for Vanilla
Same.
Sky, I got recommended this movie by somebody who basically just watches a bunch of like really mid rom-com stuff, you know? And I was like, and they're like, you should watch this. And I watched, and so I started watching it like the first 10 minutes to catch the vibe. And I was like, oh, this looks like Tom Cruise fun. You know, he's like, he's gonna have Riz and he's gonna talk to girls and he's gonna be rich and handsome and cool.
Beat someone up.
Yeah, beat people up and go on a run, right? I'm like, looks like fun. I'll watch this. And instead, like what I got was like some weird like Inception core like shit. And like there was a ton of moments where I was like watching it and I was like super scared. I was so scared. And I was like,
Oh, that's
why is this
awesome.
movie making me so scared? Because I wasn't ready, dude. I was going into it thinking I was gonna like watch like How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days, right? But instead I got some like fucking some shit, you know? And so I don't know like what I even think about the movie really because I wasn't prepared, you know? Like it could have been like cool or it could have been like just actually like incoherent, like kind of bad, you know, and corrupt. But I don't know.
So Troy, is Yi Yi more or less life affirming than this movie?
It is, I'd say it's more life affirming. And in response to Brody, I totally agree with what you're saying. Have you seen How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days? And Yi Yi is, have you read any like Dostoevsky books?
Yes.
I'd say, or like when like music artists, their first album, like classic first album is like totally insane awesome, and then everything isn't, you know,
Yes.
after?
Yes. It's like their third.
Not that
their,
everything
their
after
second,
isn't.
Their like second or third album is like usually the best. Right.
This is feeling to me right now like that sort of youthful balls to the walls sophistication, and like that type of energy, whereas Yi Yi is not worse at all, but is like has a much more mature energy.
Okay.
And it is, I don't think it's too much of a spoiler to say that, not in any deep sense, but surface level sense, it is a much more straightforward story.
Okay. Yeah.
Like you don't, not to say that what you're saying by like be prepared is like be able to follow the movie.
Mm-hmm.
But I think this movie is just a total, or Terrorizers in comparison, I think is like a total assault on the mind.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know, and that was like I guess part of the reason why I felt like a little like anxiety induced while watching it. Uh, but that's cool.
Have
I don't think
you
it's a bad thing. It just is a thing.
have you seen Sacrifice?
Sacrifice? No, it's been on my list
Tarkovsky.
for my forever though. I've only seen one Tarkovsky.
Did you see How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days?
I've seen How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days.
Dude, I just watched that the other day. It's so crazy.
How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days? It's
Yeah,
so fun.
it's just ridiculous. I think they like ran out of time to make the movie, so like that explains the ending.
Yeah, there
Like
wasn't.
they
I
spend
was,
all this time doing this thing, and then it's just like zip, kiss.
yeah, I was expecting maybe like some epic plane stuff, but maybe they couldn't afford to have a plane. I don't
True.
know what was going on, but just this the whole like, oh, she thinks this, but he thinks that. All that kind of stuff
Yeah.
is like I'm just hanging out having fun, you know? It's like I
And you never get to see them actually be likable together. Or
that's
like you
true.
do for a little
You
bit
do,
when
yeah.
she visits his family and then they shower together.
Yeah.
But
Whoa.
that's like there's like 20 minutes of them being nice with each other and like an hour of like this premise just
And
being
I'll tell
played
you what,
out.
she got totally the good side of the deal, right? Because he had to be nice and be super good, and then she had to be an asshole. Matthew McConaughey was getting owned. The whole movie getting owned.
I think it'd be way harder to be as mean as she was. Although, yeah, I mean, she is really unkind.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'd rather be him.
Yeah,
I've
of
only
course.
seen that. I was shown this film that you guys are talking about um, by a woman while they were experiencing their routine lunar punishment.
Okay.
And as such, as such,
Uh-huh.
this person, this female, this person of the female variety that was showing me this film was only skipping to the scenes that they liked to show me, and so I have a very
It's
incomplete.
kind of epic browser.
Kind of have an incomplete picture of the. And then I think they cried and wanted to get food or something. But
The movie's not good.
Yeah, no, it's one of the worst.
It's like pretty fucking bad.
Unpleasant.
Yeah.
Wait, my wife has done some babysitting in the past, and she babysat for a like 11-year-old girl who wanted to watch movies, and she would go on Disney Plus on the TV
Mm-hmm.
and watch some like Disney movie and skim through it like a YouTube video.
Yeah.
Like skim through, watch the scene, skim through, watch the scene, skip dialogue, and then the big action sequence.
Right.
Skip.
that's awesome.
It was crazy.
That's crazy, dude. Dude, that's actually sad.
I mean, we've all been there.
I mean,
it's
I feel like
all I
as a
do all
kid,
day.
as a kid, I wanted to do that, but like you couldn't fast forward and play and rewind like the VCR tapes too fast, or you'd fuck some
okay,
shit up.
all right. To
Sometimes
be fair,
it's good not to have certain abilities.
No, but-
have you guys seen Click?
That's true, dude. I mean, hold on a second. Look, I'm gonna get into a real topic
That's
here.
true.
So I lately have been listening to a lot of AM radio. Okay. Now, okay, Troy's rolling his eyes.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
I'm giving a massive thumbs up.
I need to hear the rest.
and I realized that it's kind of actually nice not having to go in the car and choose, right? I'm all the time I'm having to make choices. I go on the computer and I don't get to flick on the TV and just be like, what's on the channels for today? What are my options? I have the most unreasonable amount of content I could watch all of the time. And I have to click and choose every fucking video, right? And then but then the AM radio is nice because I don't take out my phone and plug it in and Bluetooth blah blah blah, right? And I just chuck that shit on and I say, what you got for me today? right? And then I'm hearing all sorts of stuff I don't usually hear. Usually I'm stuck in the same box, right? Because I'm choose the podcast, right? I choose the music, right? And then so all the same stuff trying to kind of bounce around my brain, right? And then now I'm listening to like this like
You're
guy,
listening to Christian nationalist.
Yeah, that's basically it. Like, dude, I'm hearing like some of like the funniest shit I've ever heard. Right? Not like because they're actually funny, just because I'm like, holy shit, like this is a whole world of people that I haven't seen in fucking years. Right?
So true.
And and I also just love being able to just turn on my car, boom, it starts playing. What you got? Right? And then, I'm driving, I'm tuning in and out, right? Whatever. It doesn't really matter because it'll be back on later.
Swerving.
Right? And then you know what I do is I just turn off the car and boom, it's gone. Right? I'm not pausing, I'm not thinking about it later, if I should. Right? None of that. It's just this sort of very background thing that kind of just gets to exist. And here's my next theory. This goes into the second part, which is reels. Okay? People always want to pretend. People always want to pretend that they want to choose their content. However, do you know what's the most addictive fucking new craze trend that's happening all the time? Is you go on reels, you just start swiping. You just have that just comes at you. Right? You say, what you got for me for today for me, app, right? People want this. Except the problem is the vidlets, they're fucking hyper tailored still, right? But I remember like I was sitting in my computer the other day and I was thinking to myself, like, that reel I saw, right? And I was explaining it to former special guest Tony. And then I was thinking about it, and I was explaining it to him, and I was like, "Oh, I wonder if I can find that, dude. I can't find that shit. You can't find if you see a vidlet, unless you actively save it, dude. That shit is gone. You will never see that again, and you will have no way of finding it. Like,
I think that is what is most unique about it, because even YouTube Shorts, it's in your history.
Yeah,
like you can, at least trace it back.
They don't know about
the
Instagram track poopy shit stink.
What?
If you like something, you can see it.
No, but I don't like anything.
I'm not gonna like something. Crazy.
People will see that. People will see if I like something.
I guess it solves the problem. But people can see.
That was the main. Well, this is a whole other topic, but I'm off the vidlets.
Hold on, Brody. You need to complete the idea. I think so. Part one is you're tired of making choices. Right, so you put it in the hands of someone else, and that is AM radio.
Right.
But the flip side to this is similarly the bottom of the barrel is putting it in someone else's hands, reels.
Well, yeah, which in this case is the global AI. But here's the problem. Here's why AM radio, because I'm not saying reels good and also or AM radio good, therefore reels good. Because here's the problem. Okay, is that AM radio? When I'm listening to AM radio, I like to pretend that we still live in a real country where everybody's on this shit. Everybody's listening to it as a collective.
It is a very like role play activity.
Right? So I like to pretend that I'm in some like old world America shit. But the problem is that reels is all hyper tailored, right? And everything that I'm seeing is shit that has been perfectly crafted for me specifically by the AI overlords.
Just like the film Terrorizers.
Right? Just like the film Terrorizers, right? So
I don't know, like, I agree with you that it can be a pleasure to flip on the radio and just, slow ride.
Also, AM radio is more of a slow burn activity, right? You go on reels, you see people die, okay? AM radio,
the vidlets.
Go on.
The modern a seat is just a guy addicted to AM radio.
I would just say, with the vidlets, like
modern monk.
That's what asceticism is. Yeah. With the vidlets, it's not even that it's hyper tailored. Like, I feel like you still have some semblance of there being like mass appeal, right? Because you go through these vidlets and you see that your fucking dad is liking them. Your fucking people from high school you haven't spoken to in years are liking fucking, dog in a dress backflip fucking into a pool. Whatever nonsense. I stopped watching these a long time ago. Right? And
just lying.
No, it's real. It is real. I don't scroll the vidlets in
You
it.
don't scroll. You just get.
I don't
You
scroll.
just
I
put
just
it in
get a
our hands.
daily injection. Exactly, and
Yeah.
that's another layer of having it curated for you. Okay,
Yeah.
at this time, I don't want to have my mind plugged into the mainframe, and I don't want to see all these random side characters in my life be plugged into the mainframe. So instead, I'm gonna hand off that responsibility to you to give me the top 5 America's Funniest Home Videos reels
Yeah.
that you can possibly find. Now obviously it's the same. It's choice is a burden. Okay, you hop on YouTube and you have all these choices. I mean, it's nice to have the freedom, but the burden is enough to where people will make the switch to just swiping on the phone and being just fed garbage. I don't know, but
I want it on the record. I would never tune into AM radio.
Okay.
I mean, that is an evil take. I love on occasion if I'm sitting in traffic, just like Brody, turn on some AM radio, listen to what local news, traffic, weather.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe someone
Yeah.
calls in, has a funny story.
Yeah.
I was sitting in the car the
Oh
other
my
day.
god!
This guy calls into the AM radio show and he's
Oh my
talking
God.
about how hard it is to run a business and how competing with the migrant labor that
God damn it. God damn it, dude.
operating illegal businesses in parking lots where they sell, various types of food. It's hard.
I think I don't live. I want. Spiritually, I'm on this train of AM radio and this whole idea. But quick reality check, right? You can curate for yourself. You can leverage small decisions into having to not make them all the time via shuffle.
Yes.
Like over a history, you add little songs one by one, so that when you get in the car, you don't have to choose. You can just shuffle.
Right, but the thing is I don't. But what I'm saying is that the AM radio makes it so I'm not interfacing with content that I made for myself. I'm going out into the world.
Yeah.
Secondly, and this is an important thing, is that the AM radio, similar to like how back in the day, I don't know if you guys all also just like had mostly cable television. If you're like gonna watch something, it was on cable TV.
Big time.
Right?
I watched tons of cable TV.
Right. So you had all these
Rob
moments.
Dyrdek Fantasy Fact.
You had all these moments
episode.
where you'd be watching the TV, but it was also kind of just like on, right? So you're kind of just like thinking a lot. There's lots of ads too, right? So you kind of were just like in this sort of like partially watching space,
I don't think so.
You're
I
locked
think
in.
I was absolutely locked in. All I was a slave to the Discovery Channel. Like, I know the shows I like to watch. Dude, it's actually crazy. I feel like this is a lesser known Troy fact, is how much cable television I watched. I would I had a little TV in my room and a rocking chair, and I wasn't allowed to watch TV on it. But I did, and I would just lock in and sit in this rocking chair for like 3 hours at a time, hitting last, flipping between Net Geo, Discovery, Spike if I'm feeling crazy, stuff like this. Never watching narrative television, basically. Like never watching movies, never watching a show. Always stuff like Man vs. Wild, Man vs. Food.
You just wanted to see like crazy shit.
Like it's just like being on YouTube.
Yeah.
It really that's YouTube. It's funny how long it took YouTube to realize that people like episodes
Yeah.
of something. But yeah, it was like being on YouTube, except yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Hell yeah.
Yeah, but commercials, dude, I know I was sitting there just locked into the commercials, like really interested.
You had to
Not like consciously, like an adult would be like, maybe I should do it. Just like almost.
I want.
Not often a big barrier between the show and the commercial. It was just I'm watching.
Right.
Yeah. You're just
Okay.
you're just an observer.
Well, either way, in the
Just
AM
a-
radio, I like it because I'm not super locked
Essentially.
into the content, right? So it's kind of just feels it has like this cozy. It's more like it's emitting a cozy aura, right?
You could let the culture decide for you. You could like audiobook the top 100 Amazon personal motivation books.
Yeah, that sounds awful. That sounds really bad.
But let them decide.
I understand your point. I understand what's going on.
I'm only half joking.
Okay.
Like because I do like this idea. I mean, because right, you obviously you have to let someone decide.
Right.
And if it's going to be as low value as AM radio, I think what's high value here is listening to AM radio. But what's on AM radio is potentially some of the least useful information.
Yes, 100%.
Be exposed
Actually,
to.
listening to AM radio it's garbage.
No, but so you might as well just listen to.
It's not garbage. I mean,
7 Effective Habits of Highly Winning People or whatever.
Yeah, that's garbage too.
Atomic
Habits. That's what I'm saying.
That's what I'm saying.
Here's the problem. Here's the problem, Troy. Is that it gets you back into the same predicament of like you're exercising a choice, but now you're also there's the anxiety attached to it of like if you were to listen to all these audiobooks instead and just based off some ranking, right? You still like I feel like just immediately I would be thinking like, okay, I need to remember where I am in this book, you know, if something like if I'm listening to it in the car, but also at work, but also somewhere else. It's like I got to keep track of like where I am and like, oh, I got to go back 30 seconds to like I zoned out. I didn't hear that part.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And AM radio will never make you feel like you're not enough.
Well, AM radio, it's like you just...
AM radio is designed to make you feel comfortable going to and from work, okay? That's why it's comfortable. It's designed that way, all right? Sure, it's not going to be fucking...
And you could
why didn't we decide to make a comfortable podcast?
You could tune in at any point, you know? And you know, you immediately know what's going on.
It is nice, the idea of a never-ending conversation.
Dude, it is never... and also, like...
About not much.
Yeah, like, dude, and especially, dude, in the morning, dude, it's 7 a.m., I'm driving to my locations, right? And it's, like, too early for, like, real shit to be happening, so I'm listening to, like, one guy, and he's, like, he'll, like, make a joke, and he'll, like, pause, and he's, like, remember, he's, like, in a vat, right?
Yeah.
He has nobody to bounce off of, right? So he's just shooting out into the world live. No editing, right? Nobody to bounce off of. He's just in his own chamber, just going for it. And he's here every day at the same time at 7 a.m. Like, that shit is, like, a unique experience. You know, that you can't get that with any kind of podcast, right? It's all very specific, you know? But this, like, this feeling of, like, live is just got good energy to it.
I do like live.
Yeah.
Can I tell you guys something evil?
Yeah, then we can go into scores, and then I can go to bed. Yeah, and I gotta go to bed.
I used to like listen to NPR when I drove to school in the morning in high school. I used to listen to NPR like basically.
This is Rachel McShadows.
Basically the
studios.
Yeah, basically the AM radio take. But anywhere I was driving when I was in high school, I would be listening to NPR.
It's kind of hype.
And I fucking, because I was still on the whole like neutrality. Fucking.
Well, NPR gets a bad rap. I mean,
no, it gets a bad rap. It gets a bad rap deservedly.
No, there are, like, think about radio stations that exist that are host to many, many people who really all they care about is like some moderately obscure art thing. It gets the bad rap because it's like politically an agent, you know? I don't listen to NPR, so maybe this is like a total misunderstanding, but I imagine NPR as like the New York Times, although the New York Times is like way less encompassing. But there's like a political element to NPR where they talk about those types of things. But I also imagine just like a bunch of women in fleece sweaters who are like super into like a certain kind of literature and they want to talk about these things and blah, blah, blah.
NPR
like,
has, they have different segments on the channel where it's kind of like New York Times or something, where it's like, and here's the show that's about finance, and here's the show that's about film.
Oh.
You know what I mean? But they all do the,
Yeah, I mean, that's a really good point. And can you just expand on that?
and it's just like this hypnotic, like, shit.
Maybe you're right. Maybe I think I'm not. Or I think
Shit-lid
I had a
hypnosis.
misunderstanding.
No, you understand it, but you don't appreciate the insanity.
The good thing I thought existed, I think, is in reality like USC. What's the USC channel for classical?
Oh yeah,
Oh.
That channel rules. I mean, they just play epic classical music all day, and like if anyone is talking, it's for like a short segment where they have on some like 10x PhD,
Yeah.
whatever, and he speaks like really elegantly. Like he doesn't come off as like a nerd, you know. He speaks really elegantly about this piece, keeps it short. It's so awesome.
Yeah, that's comfy.
But I'd love to have a radio where people just art loving PhD losers go on and skits out about like 17th century cookbook genre bending slow burn
cookbook,
novels,
cookbook.
cookbooks, cook scrolls.
Yo, I would listen to a cooking radio show.
You know, this movie also kind of had me thinking a little bit about how crazy the invention of the photograph is. Now, full disclosure, I took more than a few courses on Impressionism, so I know a little bit about photography.
Okay.
But
10x PhD.
how crazy...
10x PhD here.
I have a PhD in Impressionism, art history, and
Or like,
it's crazy how photographs are. I was just thinking about the political elements when he's taking photos of the crime, and like the cops are like, you know, da 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 da, and how obviously photography had been invented far earlier than this film takes place, but it's still a part of like the golden era of normal people getting access to effective photography equipment for like on the go shooting and stuff like this.
Mhm.
And that is a crazy time freezing activity. Speaking of time freezing, this guy wants to dodge the draft. He's got
Okay.
his life is coming to an end, and if only he could focus all his energies and spirits on these abstract ideas in which time has stood still.
Mhm.
I did like his youthful. It's like it reminded me of the Dinner with Andre thing, where it's like when I was in my 20s, all I thought about was art and beauty and film.
Mhm.
Now I'm in my 40s, and all I think about is money
Mhm.
or whatever. And I liked the boy had like a really. It just reminded me of, I don't know, like being young and like all, like totally captured
Yeah.
by these lofty nothingnesses.
Yeah. Yeah. He has very youthful passion, and it's nice to see. He just doesn't give a fuck, right? He lives in nothing. You know, he lives in the dark room, right?
He's literally sealed off from the world
Yeah.
into this just world of
Yeah.
art or whatever.
And
so cozy.
and he also
it is very cool.
he also had a little House of Jack built moment, little tour moment, where he says, you know, he likes photography. He has a perfect eye. He'd make a good sniper, right? You catch that
Oh
one.
yeah, I think that is a House of Jack built reference.
Yeah. As all movies do.
As all movies do,
When did House of Jack
As
Bill
you
come
do.
out?
before or after.
When did House of Jack Bill come out?
2018.
2018.
But as we know, 2018 in America was actually 1982 in time.
1984.
Right.
I do like Wait, yeah, is this? Oh, this is 1986. Maybe just taking a little step back, or I guess we got to get to scores. But I was charmed by all the little coincidental intersections between the groups and like the misunderstandings that, like, unlike a rom-com, felt really good and justified,
Mhm.
and not like unnecessarily tragic or unnecessarily confused.
Mhm.
Like the divorce.
The divorce, yeah, I was gonna mention
Like
the divorce.
their
yeah.
confusion is serious.
Mhm.
And also he made this a year, or it was released a year after he got married to a woman he would eventually divorce.
Mhm.
Or experience a divorce with. But yeah, I liked all the ways of the intersections. I liked the prank call, and so she thinks this, but actually she's the one who did she. I got lost track of that. Does she cheat on Doctor before or after receiving the call from White Chick?
Before.
Yeah, so she gets the call, so now she thinks he's cheating, but she's not actually cheating, and it leads her to going to the photo boy's house. I liked
Yeah.
it. It didn't feel trite.
Yeah, it didn't.
And it was also very fun and charming.
I agree. That being said, I was very frustrated with the Doctor, like on a just a sort of a very surface level sense of Jesus Christ, your wife writes a book, you read it.
Yeah, he hasn't read it. He doesn't under. It's comical that his wife is saying you don't understand.
Yeah.
And then he's like, oh, or he's telling this to someone, and they're like, well, did you read the book?
Mm-hmm.
No.
Yeah, but then
Yeah,
it's
I don't know.
the only
Dude,
thing
what are
that
you talking
prompts
about?
him.
It's so base.
The only thing that prompts him to read the book is, of course, this divorce and him feeling like he needs to, like, solve something, like trying to understand, like, his own marriage, right, through this, like, fiction, right?
Mm-hmm.
However, like, it's only when he thinks that he's finally put the pieces together, and finally found something, like, she's completely dismissive of it. It's like, this is all just fake. This isn't real. And, she said that, several times, which, of course, it is real, but also not real, right?
Yeah, like the reason that he is the thing about him that leads to him thinking the answers in the book and getting to the bottom of this confusion and presenting it to her is the problem he doesn't understand.
Yes, exactly. Right.
Although I do like that she acknowledges in her little divorce speech that she is not above, like with her whole fresh start thing. Like she gets that, like the problem she has identified or whatever probably isn't even real either.
Yeah. Yeah, and
And
her
it's just
proposed
like,
solution is probably not going to work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he overreacted, but I do like you lose your wife and job. You lose your wife and job, that's bad. But you don't kill yourself. But I like movies, and I think there's a moment in Yi Yi that I can't wait for you guys to see. It's like a real small thing, but I think he does a great job here of showing how truly horrific things could be. And then in contrast to that, I think the suicide is somewhat a relief.
Mm-hmm.
It almost feels like, oh, like he probably thought about this too, right? He wanted to hurt them. He was following me, all this stuff, and chose to kill himself instead. And it's obviously devastating, but you're also like, oof, close one.
Yeah.
Things almost went bad.
Yeah.
I kind of felt the opposite. I'm like, dude, I was like,
provides a great
cheering him on, like,
perspective.
yeah, fucking kill him.
No.
Yeah, dude.
That's so bad.
Yeah, dude.
They didn't do anything wrong, especially not the other guy. Oh, he was... Never
Dude,
mind, he was doing bad stuff.
They were all doing bad shit, except the main doctor guy. He's the only one that didn't do anything explicitly bad. I mean, sure, he might have not
bad
been
husband.
present for his wife or whatever, but, she's secluded herself. He doesn't have to read anything.
Dude.
He's grinding, trying to get that top spot because he knows that
Chief.
she deserves more, okay?
Well, he
Meanwhile-
totally misunderstands what she wants.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
No, he...
Although, I'm with you. I think
He
I think they
understands
belong
what she
together.
wants. He understands what she wants, but he is unable to deliver, and also,
No, she says it's not what she wants.
no, it is what she wants.
He thinks that she wants a more comfortable life and stuff, and
She does. That's kind of what she said in the.
I don't think so. I feel
in
like
the
she
divorce
says
convo.
she wants to get out there.
She-
She misses traveling and being out in the world.
That's part of it, but she's just all she says is she wants it to change up her lifestyle, and all he says is that she wants a different kind of lifestyle. He doesn't say that. He pigeonhole her into thinking that he just thinks that she wants nicer shit or anything. He knows that he hasn't delivered on, you know, fulfilling her, you know, needs or whatever. And he feels guilty about the fact that she has secluded herself in her study to be a writer because he knows that it's a sign that something's gone wrong, right? Where's it going with this? Yeah, but he never does anything explicitly wrong. I mean, he's just grinding to try to, you know, he's doing his best to improve the situation.
But he does a bad job, I think.
Yeah.
Like him losing his job is 100% a function of his inattention to what's important.
I don't know. I don't know if I can.
But
agree with that.
I'll tell you this. I think her situation is crudely summarized as like some type of midlife crisis. I mean, she talks about going to work and feeling like her whole life is going to pass her by, and she just wants something different. And I don't, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
But I also think the movie suggests that they are meant to be together, or at least there is something significant, some significant magic between them, indicated just by when they're on the phone. They both have identical phone conversations. One accidental, the prank call from white chick to the woman, the writer.
Yeah.
And then to the, you know, and they both say, you know, tell me when and
Well,
where.
also-
and like they have the same kind of serious tone, and it just made me feel like they really are similar people who, for various, right, she feels like she has to play the writer, and he feels like he has to, like they're both confused about what the other person wants, and so I think they're meant to be
also
together.
like the narrative of their marriage, right, is what got her the first place book. You know what I mean? Like it is this story, right? This story that is also true and ever present, right? In amongst like you know, relationships, which it can feel a little, you know, it's like this in a sense, right? Both kind of a little lost and a little not fully understanding, right? But still ultimately conjoined and similar, right?
True.
Well, except me and my wife.
Except for
Yeah.
yes,
We understand each other.
Listen,
exactly.
all I was trying to say was that on like a base level, I feel like the husbando character
Husbando.
was he was the least in the wrong in like a material legal sense of anyone in the film. And so when there was the fake dream sequence of him going on a rampage, I was cheering him on because
That's
I'm like,
crazy.
Because you thought it was just
You're-
this
you-
guy.
because I'm like, he's doing something. He's actually doing something now to all these evil people.
Okay.
I think Elsmore has the reputation of being the most sensitive to quote unquote evil movies because he himself has the most evil desires.
I mean, listen,
I
like,
can't imagine watching that sequence being.
It is
For me, I'm so sad.
I'm really drunk right now, but I was like, these people deserve something to happen to them.
It is crazy that Elsmore is the most evil sensitive because I talk to my coworkers about movies sometimes, and they'll bring up a movie. I'm like, that movie's
Big
evil,
mistake.
right?
You say
I'll
that?
say that, and they'll
I hit him with evil all the
and
time.
then they're like, no, it's not evil. It's about love, and I'm like, no, all right, or I'm like, yeah, sure, but right. I kind of keep it short because I'm trying not to be autistic and weird,
Yeah.
you know. And I'm being honest when I say this. I don't want to talk about it, right? But but the thing is I let it slip that it was evil, you know. So if any psychoanalyst here could do some deep, you know, unconscious research on me right now. So whatever, take this for what you will. But you know, I don't want to talk about it, but I did let it slip that I'll say that movie's evil or I don't like it, right? And then it turns into a full-fledged investigation, right? And then I have to justify, and it doesn't go well. I had this whole thing about everything everywhere all at once, right? It was terrible.
People will listen. We
People
are
hate
just
it when
men.
people hate it when you tell the truth. I mean, that's just
People do hate when you tell the truth. I think people basically don't care about these things, and so they actually will, with enthusiasm, listen to you skits about whatever.
Yeah.
And this is my experience. I think we've all been
Yeah.
there. They will enjoy and entertain you and you skitzing out about whatever, and they'll hear you out for about 20 seconds.
Yes, exactly. Yes.
As long as you don't start wasting their time, they don't care what they're saying. They don't care about what they're saying, and they don't care about what you're saying.
Yeah.
And they just like that you're excited.
Yes.
But if you go over 20 and you start asking them to participate,
No way.
no.
No. I give this.
That's good advice for all the listeners out
Yeah,
That
there.
is-
that is good advice because
I
we have a bunch of schizo
think
movie.
we've all struggled significantly with this.
Yeah, if any person who would
In
listen
different
to this
areas of life.
podcast, that is true. Anybody who would listen to this podcast is like a schizo movie person who
One of us listen to this podcast is fucking not a real person.
who if they
For
were
sure. I cannot
if they
imagine
would've-
someone who has gone through this.
It's not
If
real.
if they
It's someone in the fucking spirit realm. It's fucking-
but if let's pretend this fucking person is listening, dude, they cannot relate to talking about movies with a typical person at all. Not
Yeah.
even fucking close. Jacob is
It used to sketch me
Jacob
out.
is actually our most resident able to talk about regular movies with people, I think. Between maybe John is actually.
I don't understand.
How dare you?
I don't understand what you mean by this.
I am the most everything. Good.
I am the most.
I guess
It used to be a huge bother to me. I imagine we all
trained?
went through it and with different thing, but like in senior year of high school, like when you're super edgy and this and that, and you're like, I am literally a god.
yes.
I was it had a significantly bad impact on my life, my frustration
Uh-huh.
relating to this type of topic.
Uh-huh.
But you can't bottle it all up. You just
Sometimes you let it slip that you say this is evil, or you say this movie is
I
actually terrible.
love the evil.
I'm a little confused.
I drop
You-
evil all the
Dude,
time.
evil
I'm a little
is
confused. You say I'm
They
the
hate it.
You both say I'm the most evil sensitive, but also I'm the most able to talk to normal people. But also that when you bring up evil to normal people, they get upset. So which one is it, Brody?
I don't know. I kind of just talk. I'm kind of just talking.
You're the most evil sensitive.
No, but he's
Listen.
noticing the incongruity of what I'm saying, and to be honest with you, I don't have a response.
See, now that's the type of response that I like.
No. All right, let's do the scores.
Okay, I am giving this a 3.3. I felt occasionally a little disconnected. However, it was very interesting and it kind of felt like some legitimate creativity is being espoused here, is being portrayed to me. And there's the big difference between, and like it's a creativity in like a subtle way. That's how I know that's actually creative. People who say like, "Oh, this is so creative," is actually just like not at all. It's like one of the
Everything
the least,
everywhere all at
yeah, it's
once.
one of like the least creative things you could have made. It's just anyway. So this is like actually legitimately creative, but I felt a little bit disconnected, a little bit like 3.3.
Who's next?
Is it my turn?
Yeah.
Okay. Are you ready? Are you more ready than I am? I don't feel ready.
Brody, you gonna write it down?
Yeah, I'll write it down. I'm ready. Jacob.
Oh, I thought I asked to be skipped.
Oh, you asked me to skip?
Okay.
Yes.
Oh, I can go. Okay, so look. To whatever non-human person is listening to this,
Yeah.
I have to apologize that my normal enthusiasm hasn't been, put on display here. But I am thrilled about this movie. Oh, I wanted to bring up another example of these kind of fun little things, like moves. I liked the sequence where I don't even really remember what's going on, but someone's talking to these two guys behind a counter, and basically one guy says something, and then the next guy just says exactly what the other guy
Yeah,
said.
that's good. That's good. Yeah.
That was amazing. like you can imagine seeing something like that in like Fargo or some A24 thing, but it would be like either ooh spooky, weird, random, or like whatever.
Mhm.
But this just felt like I totally bought that. There's some like this makes sense, and then when the guy says the thing and he goes to repeat it and he's like, wait, actually, that part's not right. Da 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 da,
Mhm.
and it like I don't know. I can't quite put my finger on it, but there's something exciting there. Anyway, this movie, I'm thrilled about it. I'm so excited. I can't wait to watch it again and start to really get a grip on it. Edward Yang is amazing, and watch Yi if you haven't. I'm giving this a 4.3 for now.
4.3.
A monster score.
Monster score.
A monster score.
An
Monstrosity
entire
score.
point above me. All right, Jacob.
I enjoyed this film. I enjoyed learning more about sort of the aesthetics and general vibe of 1980s China, Hong Kong, Taiwan sort of culture. And I really think that I've grown to like this sort of these Chinese films. We watched Fallen Angels and now this, and so far I think both of them have been pretty big hits. Like I don't feel like any of it was, when we reviewed Color of Pomegranates, I feel like that was a little more did not mesh super well with like American tastes, which we have, right? Or like it didn't feel it was very foreign. It felt like a foreign movie, right? And I would venture to say that a film like this one or like Fallen Angels, like sure there's a little bit of quirkiness in there, but it doesn't feel like this is a foreign movie.
Yeah.
Like it feels like very recognizable, easy to work with, and so I look forward to watching more foreign films like this because it's a big world out there,
Big time.
and I just want to say novels are actually reality. And I'm
Yeah,
gonna give
especially
this,
movies.
I'm going to give this a 3.0.
3.0. A mild take, a mild score. A little slow burn score.
Yes? No, sorry, I'm doing a pod right now. Yeah, I'll tell him. Okay.
Is it the
bro.
IRS?
Steven says 4.6.
Steven says
Aw,
4.6.
man. He won.
Is that a real score?
No, but I think he'll like this. And so I'm right.
I'm totally.
I'm just reading.
You do.
It's famously characterized by Marxist scholar Frederick Jameson as the postmodern film.
This
That's
one?
crazy.
This movie?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Okay.
I've totally become uncomfortable with the whole scoring. I'm not saying.
It's
I'm
one
not
of those
saying-
podcasts.
I'm not saying that scoring. There's an issue with scoring the categorically or like that I'm on the attack right now. But like me personally, I've become very insecure.
Good.
Yeah.
Scoring is obviously fake and bad.
Scoring is obviously true and important.
Before
Okay,
I had so much
bye-bye.
trust in the scoring system.
Bye.
See ya.